5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I certainly hope we've started. Okay, this is a beer with the Old Growler. And what it is, quite simply, is since today is the 9th, it is Thursday, the 9th day of April, 2020. Thursday, the 9th day of April, 2020, that's what it is. And it is getting into the 4th week of no pubs, bars, taverns, or anything else opened up here in New York City. So usually at 5 o'clock, actually a little earlier, the Old Growler here would go off to his local watering hole and have a beer or two, bend an elbow, talk to some folks, swap lies, swap flies, fire an odd shot here and there, so to speak. But it's not going to happen. Well, I tell you, it is going to happen. I tell you it's going to happen because I'm going to share, I'm going to invite you, everybody, and anybody who wants to watch. You can come on in and have a beer with me. How's that? That way, neither one of us will be drinking alone, and we can discuss maybe some beers, talk about beer, talk about bar talk about history. I particularly like talking about pubs, bars, and taverns. In fact, that's pretty much what I'm going to chit-chat with before we do our tastings today. Today we've got some really interesting tastings. But anyways, first off, I have to open up a beer. Now this growler was purchased 2 days ago at the Henry Street Ale House, and it is, I believe, from Two Roads. It is, yes, it's the Road to Ruin. So I'm going to begin right now. It's 5 o'clock. Oh, let's see if I can get myself on the Road to Ruin. Let's see. It's been, I think we've been at this 2 weeks to 3 weeks now, so I should learn not to pour near a laptop, but I'm going to do it anyway. In fact, I'm going to, wow, look what skill, look dexterity. Oh, look what a nice looking beer. Cheers. Not yet, not yet. I'm not ready. Hold on. No, don't put the top on it, you idiot. Okay. Welcome to the Old Growler, I tell you. Pete LaFrance here. Glad to have you with us. Cheers. Mary, greetings. Monica, we've got some of the regulars. It looks like we got a couple other folks coming in, so welcome. And the first sip of the Schlange, cheers, chin chin, Nazdrovia, Sante, any one of those other ones. Oh, that first sip. That first sip is, oh yes! Oh, Monica, oh, geez, I had it written. I had it written down. I had it written down, Monica. I was going to say it. Happy birthday, Monica. Yes, and I'm just going to say a special toast. Monica, a longtime friend and now a regular at the Old Growler. So it's glad to have you here. Oh boy, that's good. That's not a bad beer. If we've got some new folks here, I would just want to explain what goes on, in case you missed it. I'm glad to have you join me with a beer, at 5 o'clock every afternoon, every weekday afternoon. Since they've closed down the pubs, bars, and taverns in New York City, that makes it a little difficult to socialize. And I do love to socialize, swap lies, swap flies, fire the odd shot here and there. For those of you who were here earlier, you were not looping. Oh, that's just me. If anybody has any questions, don't forget to, there's that, let's see, right down there, it says, say something, and you can do it. I'd be glad to. Since we've started to gather, let me just do a little teaser. We've got some beers to taste now. Hold on. For those of you who are new, I have a channel, and on the channel there are a couple hundred beer tastings, observations, etc. And recently we've been having beer tastings at the Henry Street Ale House over in Brooklyn Heights, across the way there. And bartender Jerry Scott there was good enough to host us on Thursdays, and we taste 2 or 3 beers, and every once in a while a spirit or two. In fact, we tasted this one. This is a gin that comes from Utah. Figure that one out. And we're going to be doing a repeat tasting of that in the next couple of days, I can guarantee you. But what we do is we get together, we take a look at this is one for today. It's from Weldworks Brewing Company, and it's let's see, where are they? Dear, oh dear, oh dear, Weldworks. They're in Greeley, Colorado, and they put out a French toast stout. And what we do is we take a look at the label, and when, just like any consumer, and but a beer savvy consumer, and we take a look at the label and we see what's there, and we say, okay, what would be the expectation of someone who's just looking around for beer, and then what would be our expectation? What are we expecting? And we discuss that very quickly, I can tell you. And then Jerry cracks it open, we pass it around, and we see if it meets expectations. And there have been a few that haven't, but the videos are called Meeting Expectations, and you can find them in the video section of this channel. So as I said, today I was just teasing folks that it's we're going to be tasting a French toast stout. So that's we're going to start with that, and we're going to finish with this is a Imperial Russian stout, and it was brewed in 1993 by the Courage Brewing Company, and it says on here, I'm sure it does, yes it does. It says that it is 10% alcohol by volume. So it's been sleeping in the bottle, and be letting it sit there. And we're gonna taste that, because I need a treat. That's what I do. I need a freaking treat. That's what I do. I need one. But Jim Glass. Oh, 2 Roads to Ruin. It's good to see you, James. Jim Glass, a buddy of mine from, oh geez, way back. Talking more than 40 years. As I've said many times, well, at least 14 times on the Old Growler, I'm sure I've repeated myself. I don't do math terribly well. Keeping track of dates and how old I am and good stuff like that. I don't do that. Ah, okay. 2 Roads to Ruin, Michael McNulty's favorite. Yeah. Geez, boy, you can actually do a message retracted. Now, I'm pardon me, folks. I'm looking down here on the print screen, the side panel, I guess they call it, the live chat. Yes, there it is, live chat. It's what I've only been at that. I've only been at this for 14 times. So this will be the end of the 3rd week. See, I did some math. Okay, but anyway, so that's what the Old Growler is all about. And what we're going to be doing some tastings here, pretty much the same as we did, except all by myself here. But I appreciate all of you being here. I really do. But let's see what I have a little bit of a kind of an outline here so that I don't get totally lost. I've done a teaser, and there's more. A longer intro. I'll give you the longer intro. Okay, so that's on today's Growler. Well, I'm gonna put it full disclosure. The fellow who is the brewmaster at 2 Roads Brewing Company up in Stratford, Connecticut, Phil Markowski, I have known him for it's got to be over 15 years for sure. And geez, maybe back when he was a home brewer. Well, anyways, as a professional, as he being a professional brewer, I've known him for at least 15 years. He started out, well, the place where I remember him particularly was the Southampton Public House, and out there, being in Southampton, being out on the island, he had the chance to, first of all, he had the chance to work with some interesting yeast, and his specialty is farmhouse beers, rustic beers, wild yeast beers, and one of my favorite beers, and I'm going to have to go back and look at the wall of beer. In fact, I've lost a Schlitz can. I wouldn't say lost. It's just not around. And when we get to talking about stuff later on, I'll explain. But I would really like to find the bottle that it was a cork finished, and he used Chardonnay grape juice as well as regular wort to make the beer, and it was fermented with wild yeast. It was an incredible beverage. So I've known Phil for a long time, and this is his a very good beer. Well, as I say, I'm biased. Oh, but it is refreshing. Goes down easy. I'm willing to bet, and again, most of the statistics that I rattle off are general, because I'm a journalist. You see, I don't know everything, but I know how to find out where to get the numbers of everything. So I will try very much for statistics to make sure that in the information box, I think they call it down below, all of the links that I'm talking about, all the beers that I'm talking about, the names of the people I'm talking about, there'll be links down there so that you can find a description box. That's what it's called, the description box. So anyways, yep, this is what do I want to talk about? Yeah, no problem. What am I going to talk about? I'll tell you what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about stuff, as I was just saying, stuff. That Schlitz can. I don't have the ability to move the camera around right now, but someday I'll do a handheld, and you'll be able to see the working space that I call my office. And there, I've told you about the wall of beers, and I might have shown it to you. There's maybe 300 bottles of beer up there collecting dust, and some of them are clean, and some of them are new. And over there, up above here, are cork finished bottles, which means they're large bottles. And we've got all of those there, and a raft of CDs here. As you can see, the library, that is magazines, magazine library with oh God, gourmet magazines going back almost 20 years. Bon Appetit magazines going back a good 20 years. All of the material that I've written for books, all the books that I've done in the magazines, all the articles, they're in the top shelf there. And the rest of these books are, I wouldn't say easy reading, but they cover history, particularly Vietnam War. They cover and Canadian National Railroad and other history, and a lot of comedic works. On the wall here, and you can't see it, but it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelf bookcase is the library for the beer books, and the top shelf, almost the whole top shelf are inscribed. So knowing the brewers and knowing the names, and no, Peter, no. The books in front of you are the ones that are inscribed. The ones up there are simply in alphabetical order. Now you see what I mean by stuff. Especially when you have a chance to sit here and start to take stock of your stuff. George Carlin did a fantastic thing about stuff. How we always have a lot of stuff with us. And I hope to find a link, but if I don't, you know how to find the link for George Carlin. Just do George Carlin and stuff. Well, this place, when I look at it now, is packed with stuff. And I have no idea particularly what a lot of it is. And when you start to pack up, when I look back and I say, okay, yeah, there's actually 30 years worth of beer cans, beer bottles, library collections, newspaper clippings. I'm sitting on a wealth of information. I'm sitting on a wealth of ideas, and it is time, I think, to really start to do an inventory. And why? Because I lost that damn Schlitz can. Okay, I've rattled on enough, and I think I might have lost a few people, but what can I say? That's just the way it is. But it's not a bad thing. In fact, the way I have things packed up in front of these file cabinets, and I work. I was lucky enough. I have a, what am I, 6 foot long, 6 foot long, 6 foot tall. This has got to be 10 feet, 10 feet long of green granite surface, 6 feet long by 3 feet deep. I mean, this is something an executive would kill for. And I have it packed with stuff, so you can't see it. I mean, so it shows. But anyways, I'm gonna clean this. I'm gonna clean this place up. That's what I'm gonna do. I think in the mornings now I'm gonna get a little routine, check the mail, and I'm gonna clean this out. Find out what I've got for my stuff. So that was my rattling on stuff. And so I think what we ought to do is have a taste test. Well, not a taste test, but a retasting of the French toast stout. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're 18 minutes into it. Oh, this is pretty early. Well, I've got some stories to tell after this. So once we taste this, then you're going to get some more stories. Okay. As similar to what it would be on a normal Thursday. Greetings. Hi. Hey, how's it going? Okay. Well, welcome to Meeting Expectations. I'm Pete LaFrance for beerbasics.com, and we're going to see if French toast stout meets expectations. Okay, what have we got here? We've got a Weldmers Brewing Company. It's since 2015. Here's a good look at it right there. That's what it is. It's got that, and it tells a little bit about it right over here, and information I'll put down in the description box. Anything that's terribly exciting, except for the government's warning that if I get pregnant, I shouldn't drink this. Okay. The most obvious thing is their logo. So it's WeldWorks Brewing Company since 2015. So we know that they're 5 years old, if I can do the math. French toast stout. French toast. Now does that mean it's bready? Does that mean, is it buttery? Is it cinnamony? I don't know. Okay, French toast stout. It does say it's a milk stout. Okay. Down on the bottom here, well, over here, it's got the independent brewers. That little symbol right there from the Brewers Association means that it's a small. It meets all kind of criteria for being supposedly a craft brewery. Okay, brewed with maple syrup. There you go, Peter, darling. No wonder it's French toast. No, he's no wonder it's French toast. There's maple syrup, probably from Quebec, eh? No, cinnamon. vanilla, and milk sugar. Whoa, we're getting into lactose again. Monica, you and I talked about lactose and milk and all the difference of sugars beforehand. I think we're being haunted by milk sugar here. Okay, I digress. 1 pint, of course, 1 pint, 16 fluid ounces, 7.1% alcohol by volume. French toast stout, keep cold, drink now. A fine-tuned beer. And it has some symbols right here. Let's see if you can see them. Those symbols there, fine-tuned. I have no idea what that means. So I'm now partially confused. Actually, I'm Peter, but the label confused me. Brewed and canned by WeldWorks Brewing Company, Greeley, Colorado, and it says the WeldWorks Brewing oneword.com so that you can find them. Please recycle, and as I say, the government warning to make sure that if I'm pregnant, I shouldn't drink this. All right, what do we expect? With the maple syrup, cinnamon, vanilla, and milk sugar, milk sugar. Wow. Yeah, I'm expecting, I don't know about you, but I'm expecting to drink maple syrup. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Okay. Not that it's a bad thing. No. A stout it's kind of sweet like that, it would be a bit of a treat in a way. But it has to be balanced, and that's the key. If it's all maple syrup and no stout, well, I'm not a happy man. Oh, as you can see, I just opened it with the pop top thing there. For the Imperial Russian Stout, naturally, it's not a twist off. And I'm going to show you something that maybe some folks haven't seen in a long time. It's called a church key. Church key. This is a real classic one because it actually has this is so that you would break into the top of the can because there was no pull tab. And back here it was easy enough to pop the top off of a bottle like that. And why they call it a church key? Because churches supposedly have no key. The easiest thing to break into. Small detail. I just digress. I'm sorry. Bit of totally useless trivia. Okay, we're going to try out this French toast stout without waiting anymore. Okay. Now, it was taken out of a rather cold refrigerator, so it might be a little inhibited as far as throwing a good head, so to speak. And I don't, my little flashlight that I had to show the opaque, but I don't have that. So you're going to have to trust me. I'm going to look up. It is deep garnet. I mean, it's okay. Well, so it's a stout. It looks like a stout. Does it smell like a stout? Well, yeah, it kind of smells like a stout. I mean, I'm not getting any sweetness off of that. Does it taste like a stout? Well, it's dark and raspy. I'll give you that. Well, let me take a look down here. Yeah, Monica, lactose again. Mary, Monica, my hopes are not high for this beer. Mary B, me neither. I want French toast now. Thought my own corner store was out of eggs, so sadly I can't. Well, sorry, Mary. Okay, there is a finish to the beer, an ending to the beer, a lingering of flavors on the palate. It's kind of like a kindly uncle that doesn't want to leave. And you really like the guy, but you kind of wish you would leave, but you'd really like the guy. So, boy, I'd like to say I'd like to say, well, I'm going to try it again. Okay. My taste buds are no longer scared. They've been calm. They know what to expect when they're going. All right, what else is there? There's a lot more than maple, that's for sure. There is a presence of, when I say rasp, but that's not a bad thing. It's similar to tannin in a red wine. A little bit of black cherry in there, sour cherry. I'm beginning to like this beer more and more. Did I leave some in here? Yes, I did. But that's why I use wine glass, because if I use a pint glass for every one of these beers, well, I will anyway. But no, I mean I don't. I mean, but it's a better presentation. All right, got 6 folks here. I know Monica, and I know Jim, and I know Mary. And if anybody else would like to chime in, I'd certainly appreciate you either saying hello or something like that, because it means that I'm not talking to a microphone and a camera. But at least I know I'm hopefully drinking with 6 of you guys. I mean, Mary, my daughter, I know you probably got a coffee or tea or something like that. Geez, you know, tea, boy, a cup of tea. I should think around 2 in the afternoon I should stop and have a cup of tea. That would be something. Oh. Emma, hello. Greetings. Salutations. I'm glad you're here. I hope you have I was about to say salient beverage, and my mind just went blank on what salient meant. So it might be a beverage that means something in this situation. But anyways, salut, santé, ne pas de paix. I always liked that one. That was a little kind of a trick answer to, and I'm not too sure whether it's directly from Marseille, but in French, when you have a toast, you know, it's santé, or if you pronounce it wrong, it's santé, which means scent. And so the response to that, if it's not pronounced quite correctly, is santé, santé, ne pas de paix, but not the feet. So you're hoping you get a good smell on the wine, but not the feet. So santé, ne pas de paix. Oh, Darjeeling, yeah. Oh, that'd be nice. Earl Grey in the morning. Darjeeling, or I'm not a real fan of green tea, but I might work some green tea in the afternoon, because it has I hope a little less vim and vigor. What do you call it? Caffeine than Darjeeling. But oh, gee, that means crumpets. You got to have crumpets with tea. Come on now. How can that's something I'm going to have to do. Okay, kids, that's it. Okay, I'm going to have to bake some freaking crumpets for one day of next week, I guess. I'll warn you. Let me make a note. Crumpets. Real green tea is good, better than the manufactured stuff. All right. Hey, I'll follow up on that. We're going to do this crumpet stuff. And you say, why crumpets with tea? Well, a savory crumpet, maybe with some crumpled up bacon in it would probably go great with a beer. I mean, think about a pint of a bitter. Oh, and some onion. Crumpet with onion and bacon in it. Oh. Crumpets with onion and bacon. Could I be inventing a new taste treat? Geez, I hope so. Wow. I'm good. I work under the 5-second rule. If you don't write about it right away, hey, I'll airdrop them somehow. I'll put them on a drone mare and send them to you. Jim Glass, I wish I was drinking with you. Just watching may be more healthy, but it's not near as much fun. No shit, George. Oh, Jim Glass. Whoops. I didn't mean to use last names. I'm sorry. I will never, ever use last names again. That's the only time I will ever do it. I'm sorry, James. Simply because other people are going to watch this later. Huh? Okay. Well, anyways, the fellow I'm referring to is Jim. It goes back. First of all, tomorrow is Good Friday. And for all of you who celebrate Good Friday solemnly, no, you don't want to see the top of my head, but I appreciate your religious dedication. And now I'm going to be really politically incorrect, but you see, Jim went went to a Jesuit university in the Bronx. So if you want to Google that up, I'm not going to identify it, but there it is. It was. And I used to hang out with a bunch of these guys who were at that particular university. I'm going to have a little bit more of this French toast while I tell the story. Okay. Now we're talking 70s. So, because I went to Norwich in 69, so it had to be 70, 71, 72, 73, maybe. Certainly 72, 73. They were trained by the Jesuits, you know, and so good religious boys, and so they knew all of the literature of the church and all that kind of neat stuff, and they figured out pretty good that Good Friday, Jesus Christ died for our sins, right? And those of you who are religious, believe me, I understand that it's a solemn time. But for those of you who are not, they figured if Jesus Christ died for our sins, man, and that was a nasty death, the least we could do is debauch and drink and other things enough so that it would make it worthwhile. Boy, am I going to get in trouble with this. But anyways, they used to throw Good Friday parties. And was it a Good Friday party? Was it? Yeah, okay. Those Good Friday parties were fun. So, Jim, I'm sorry we can't do a Good Friday party tomorrow, but I hope you're with me today. Oh boy, that was fun. That was fun. Good Friday parties. But I digress. That goes into the religious, and I'd rather not do that because it's, well, okay. Anyways, we've done the stuff and we've done the clearing out. Oh, okay. And I'm still I will have a link up there, and not down there. I will have a link up here and in the, I keep forgetting what they call that box down there. But anyways, of the tasting that we originally did of the French Toast Stout, and take a look at that and see if the fact that I'm sitting here in my own workspace changes my opinion. I would appreciate that. If anybody's still watching, I would appreciate it if you would please subscribe. Punch that little subscribe button right down there, and I'd really like that. And there's also, they tell me there's a little bell with a ringy dingy around it, and that way you know each time we go hot, particularly not only with these, but also with the once we get well. Also, you'll be notified about the other videos that go up of the tastings of meeting expectations. And I have, I believe, 3 more weeks of the old. In fact, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Yeah, one of the older ones was released yesterday, and in fact tomorrow. Take a look on the site, on the website, and you'll see a new one of one of the tastings that we did over at the Ale Street House and the Henry Street Ale House. And please take a look at that one. And I hope we also see you tomorrow. Oh, we've picked up somebody new. Okay, we've got what time is it now? It's well, we're half past, so we're working on pretty good. I tell you what, I'd like a show of hands if someone. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay right with this, and I'm going to talk about bars because bars are my. Some people go to rock concerts. Some people collect art. Some people collect wine bottles. Some people collect butterflies. I collect bars. Yeah, I collect bars. I also collect dinners in my C drive. Some people can remember the first time they. I can remember the first time I had pate. I can remember the first time that I had liver. I had the first time that I had liver. Oh boy. If there are any. Okay, no, I'm going to save that story. Anyways, so what it does, taste memories to me are incredible. And pubs, bars, and taverns that I go to are important to me and each one of them gives something. Each one of them has a spirit, an aura about it. Just I think any business does. Some say it's a culture, but I don't think so. I think it's an aura. And I think the best description of it was, I believe it's called Ocean Boulevard in South Beach, Miami. And in the old days, when everyone could go out and enjoy the sun and be together and wear skimpy things. Ocean Boulevard or Broadway, whatever it is, was the back. The beach was that way, and the hotels were on the other side of the avenue. And many of the hotels had outdoor patio bars. And the stretch is like about 2 miles. It's got to be 2 miles, easy. And a little seedy, not too bad, but still. The fun part was at say 10, 11 o'clock at night when I was younger. You could walk down Ocean Avenue, if that's what it's called, and please look it up. I don't know, but you could feel the energy coming out of each one of those patio bars. It was, it's not sound. Not a lot, not big noise, but you could feel an energy. It just felt good. It looked good. The lights were right. The ambiance was the level of the voices, the smell, the color, the whole thing. There's an ambiance to it, and there's an ambiance to every pub, bar, and tavern on the face of the earth. And some of them aren't so good, but there's an ambiance. There's a spirit. There's an aura about it. And some of my favorite, well, I might as well start with one of the most historic bars in New York City. And I was worried that it was going to close because of the pandemic, but they actually are serving outside their door. So McSorley's lives, okay? And there was a big argument as to McSorley's or the Bridge Cafe as to whether they were older or whatever. And I think Bridge Cafe was one time a brothel. Oh, Monica, I love to. Pardon me. I'm just going to stop and read some of the stuff that's down here. Yeah, Mary B. Mary, yes, description box. Thank you. I'm going to have to remember that. Now it's in front of me. I can see it. And Monica collects book. Oh, yeah. Okay. But McSorley's. That's the, well, as I say, rumor has the oldest bar, and everybody has heard about it upside down and backwards. And if you haven't been there, well, it's an institution, and it's still there, which says one hell of a lot. And I think mainly because it just simply doesn't change. It hasn't changed their menu. They haven't changed the beers. Yes, they change the beers every day. I know. But I mean, you walk in, it's a light or a dark beer. And they've gone through many breweries on it, but bada bing. The menu is as simple as can possibly be. And there are no bar stools. In real bars, there are no bar stools. And I'll tell you why. Because if there's bar stools, if you're sitting in a bar, and you're having a grand old time, no problem. That's one thing. If you're standing at a bar and you're having beers and stuff, you're having a grand old time, that's another thing. Now, think about this. If you're sitting down, you got no idea when you've had too much to drink. If you're standing up, it becomes incredibly obvious that you've had too much to drink because you fall down. Not that, yes, I have, but that's beside the point. But anyways, McSorley's. Everybody probably knows about it and has either been in or read or whatever. So I'm not going to bore you with describing it in any other way, except that, and again, I'm not so good with time and dates and all kinds of good stuff like this, but it would have been after I left Beverage Media, which had to have been 1993, maybe 94, 5, when I was still trying to freelance and also had a couple of books that I was working on. Went in there one afternoon, and I forget who I was with. It was a friend of mine, and we were sitting. As you walk in the door, there's a two table to the right hand side. Well, that wasn't where we were sitting. We were sitting at the deuce on the left hand side, so that the light could come in. Beautiful light, and oh boy, if you're an artist or if you love light for some reason, McSorley's in the springtime and in the autumn, the light coming in there is just beautiful. But anyways, I digress. We were sitting there and we'd ordered, I think it was at least 2 and 2, and we'd gone to 4 and 4. You have to order 2 beers each, so it's 2 lights, 2 darks, and you're with somebody, you can split them up, but that's how you do it. 2 lights, 2 darks. They're 10-ounce mugs, and I think 2 ounces is foam. So you figure it out. And it's not a bad price on it, but that's the way it is. So we were there, and we were sucking some down and swapping lies and swatting flies. That's the 3rd time I've said that this time. Never mind. And the owner at the time, Matty Marr, came over and introduced himself. And I forget, maybe I had a tape recorder or something. I was being a journalist or something. I was playing my little journalist role anyway. That's right, I was doing an interview. And he came over. Oh, Fetish, how are you doing? Oh, you're doing pretty good, no problem. Let me tell you, that guy inside me, he's North Maine. Matty Marr never ever bought rounds. So I was pretty impressed with that. So I said, well, listen, I'm here interviewing so-and-so, but I'd love to, you own a place. I mean, oh, hey, and I said, How did it happen? Wait, I tell you. Yeah, I was working taxi cab over in Ireland, and a fella came over. He said to me, you know, I got this bar in New York, and I'm looking for somebody to run it for me. Would you be able to do it? I said, "Whoa, geez, a bar in New York. Oh, what a wonderful thing." So I ended up coming over here thinking it'd always be a grand place. Whoa, marvelous place. And here I am. But I've never regretted a single time. No, sir, because I felt it. It was just a good thing. I felt the calling. And so we were talking a little bit more. And I says, "Well, how about your background? I mean, uh, were you always a bartender, or was that or ran bars, or was it in your family?" "Oh no, my father was a farmer, and oh, he had a grand little place. Uh, Large, it wasn't too large. It had a river run by it. And and I was one of the sons that well, I found myself into the seminary after a while, and after going to school, I ended up in the first year in the seminary, and made it through. And but it came time for the summer recess to go back to the farm. I'd say to the I'd say to my superiors, I'd say, I really believe, but how will I know that I have a vocation? And they'd say, "You'll hear a calling. You'll hear a calling." All right. So I went home, had a grand summer, went back to the seminary. And the second year, again, it was the same thing. I said to the superiors, I said, "Getting on, and then getting ready to ordination. I'd really like to know, how do I know that I have a vocation as a priest?" "You'll hear a calling. You'll hear a calling." All right. Well, I was on the autobus, and I'm going to my father's farm, and the autobus pulls over on the dirt road, and the farm I have to walk maybe 3 or 4 kilometers that way, and that's where the river is, the wee river that goes past my father's farm. And in the summertime, the tinkers come by, and they put their caravans along the river, the river there. And so I thanked the autobus driver, and I started to walk over the bridge. And as I was walking over the bridge, a group of the young gypsy girls were in the river bathing, and I heard a calling. I heard a calling. And I hope I told that well, but Matty Moore, when he told it was hilarious. And I've lost a bunch of people here, but I'm sorry that I had to tell that story. I had to tell that story. But that's my bar story. I've got 2 more to go, and I'm not gonna. We've got 5:48. Holy shit! Really? All right. I have a question for the 5 of you that are left. First of all, you're gonna have to type into the say something right there. Are you a true beer geek? Now, please put it in there, because if I can find a couple of true beer geeks, I just lost them. I'm gonna have to save this. I was disappointed. I really wanted to try that, but oh well. Oh, what a story! Oh yes, Monica, absolutely. And I can't remember his name, but he was for sure was a bartender there, and I knew him by the name of Black Bart. A tall fella with a mustache, and he was a poet, and he did. I'll bring the book tomorrow. He did a book of poetry about McSorley's that is eerie. I mean, it's scary. It's like watching a ghost of all of the time of McSorley's. it's just a fantastic. Okay, Black Bart. Book tomorrow. Boy, I don't know what I'd do without these. All right. Oh, geez. 15 minutes. I don't know how I did that. All right. Well, oh, Jim Glass, I haven't had a chance to read here. Good Friday parties were known from Boston to D.C. Only some of the people who were there don't remember them. That's true. That's true. But geez, those were grand parties, weren't they? Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, well, let's see. Somebody just showed up. If you would drop in and say hello, I'll stay for another 7 minutes. Other than that, well, oh, and welcome to the Old Growler. And thanks for all of you for showing up. I tell you, it really does. It's refreshing. Oh well, refreshing. Yes. And I get to I get to tell a few tales, and all of them are going to be recorded, which is sometimes I have to stop and mouth, don't work, brain, think, please. All right, well, I do want to thank you all for the thumbs up. And if anybody is still out there that I haven't said hello to, if you're new, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, not pass us around. Tell your friends and folks. We're going to be here. I'm going to be here every workday, 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, and at least for the next. We're on the 9th day. I've got 1, 2, 3 more weeks. So hopefully 3 more weeks for sure. And well, I know 3 more weeks for sure. And maybe a few more after that. But I appreciate everybody watching. I want to thank you all. A toast to Friday coming up tomorrow. And I will, geez, I don't have a special beer that I'm going to try, but I'll come up with something interesting. And I'm going to tell some more of the bar stories. So for those of you who are still watching this, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe, please give a thumbs up, and please ring the old bell down there. Thank you very much. Kids, always good. Pleasure to see you. Hope to catch you tomorrow. If you're coming in late, tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, we'll be here. Cheers.